And so today we are having this amazing topic. Guess what? We want to know what are the needs of men versus women in a relationship. Isn't that amazing? When we talk about needs, I don't know where to start.
When you go to the Bible, the Lord promises that He will give us our needs, not our wants. Literally meaning that a need is something you cannot do without. I refer to the Constitution, actually, Article 1, verse 26 of the Bible.
Yes.
Brings about the first relationship. It is not good for man to be alone, and therefore God had to make him a helper.
Partner.
Yes. So we jump into searching for partners, searching for helpers. And that reason has led us to break up and divorces, just because we read the last verse and not the first verses. When I was still in law school, they used to tell us that the Constitution is read in its entirety. You don't just pick up one verse or one article and use it for another. No, you read it from the Article 1 to the last, so that you can be able to understand that. So we too, if we're to understand our relationships, we need to read the entire Bible, but base ourselves on chapter 1. Because that is God's purpose, God's motivation for my creation and for your creation, and for the relationship bit of it. What God gave us first was presence. He created us in Eden, right? So He gave us His presence. Remember, what is Eden in the first place? Eden is the spot. It is the open door.
It's a space.
It is a space where we literally used to interact with God in and out. You know, it was a door. We had His presence. The first thing that a man needs in his life is God's presence. I've seen so many women, or so many girls, trying to go off the road and pick men from wherever they want to pick them and think they will change them and bring them to God's presence.
Right.
That is literally impossible. His presence is worship, praise, acknowledgement.
Well, just before we go on into the different needs, I want to pose this. Does it happen that both female and male have the same needs?
No, they don't have the same needs. They're different needs.
What creates the disparity?
The disparity comes with our creation. The way we are created, we're different.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
So just a minute. Back to you, Juvias. You know we love you so much and we can't do without you. So this is why we always look into having your contribution into our discussion topics. And today it's awesome. It's amazing. Talk to us, comment, ask questions, agree, disagree with what you're saying in our social media platforms. We'll be glad to see what you think about this. So as we're going on, you had said, if I got this right, or whatever that you're trying to bring out is that a man needs marriage.
Before marriage, the things that he needs before coming to
Okay,
marriage.
let's go to those.
Yes, so what are the needs? What should I be before even I start thinking about marriage? We have talked about God's presence as the first thing. I have to be in God's presence before even I start looking for anything else. And after being in God's presence, then what did He give me? He gave me identity. His likeness and image. That is character. Remember, we talked about character in our previous discussions. So that character is, I'm not changeable. I am me today, tomorrow, and the other day. That means I'm whole one. Holiness. Remember the meaning of integration?
Yes.
Yes, holiness. And holiness comes that you are fulfilled. First of all, you are unique. After being unique, you are fulfilled yourself. Then now you don't go out to look for somebody to come and fulfill you, but you look for somebody to fulfill, to help out. Yeah?
What if this person is already fulfilled?
Now, if this person is already fulfilled, perfect. Perfect. Because you're all fulfilled. Singleness. You're all fulfilled. Now you're working together to accommodate. I don't expect much from you. You don't expect much from me. What we're doing, we're just getting intertwined.
Well, this is awesome. Would you take us to another point?
Yes. After having the identity,
yes.
Now, what did He give us? Dominion. Work. Go out. Work. Be fruitful and subdue. Well, what is work? Work comes from the word ergon. Ergon meaning becoming. So me, before even I start thinking of any relationship, I have to be having something that I'm working on. I have to be something that I'm doing. I should be becoming. I should be manifesting myself. I should be having something that is engaging me productively. Not just, being busy. No, I should be having something that is sort of productive before even I start thinking of a relationship. Now, after working, what did He give me? Cultivation. Be fruitful, subdue, and increase. Now, when you look at fruitfulness, it's out of work. You know, you have to work. Look at the Bible. You know, when you go to the Bible, you find that they used a lot of this illustration of bread. But when you look at bread itself, the bread, which we term as Christ's body, it is his sweat, his endurance. It's what it literally means. So that's why they tell you, before you go to the altar, or before you step forth and go for that Holy Communion, you know, examine yourself. Why, and what are you examining? What you've been doing, which goes with work, which goes with sweat. So before I think of a relationship, I need to have work. Then I should be cultivating something.
It should be fruitful.
Be fruitful. You know, it is very interesting that many of us, or many of the people out there that are married, you know, before marriage, they're talking about this fancy woman that they want to marry. You know, I want this tall, dark, nice-bodied, educated.
Guys, eh?
Yes. But we forget that God did not give us anything complete. You have to make that ideal woman that you want. You know, you make her. But if you think you're going to find her in your dreams.
Someone else did that work of making her that ideal woman.
Yes. So
and you're going to pay for it.
You pay for it. Otherwise, you'll keep with the ideal woman in your dreams, comfortable. You know,
I hope you had
fantasizing. So you have to make that ideal woman. If you want this slim, yes, get up in the morning, don't leave her in bed, go jogging together. If you want this educated woman, educate her. You know, if she's not educated, educate her. Make her, because that is your role to cultivate. Now, the other is security, protection, comes with responsibility.
Okay.
That you already have. So you've worked, you're in God's presence, you're working, you're cultivating. Now, everything that you're working and sweating for, you need to protect it. Otherwise, it will be like the story of the sower. For example, when you plant seeds and run after one bird and leave the whole vineyard just there, what happens? You lose. So you need to protect and let that one bird fly and take care of the bigger portion or the bigger preparation that you've done or you've put yourself onto. Yes.
Now, that's, you've clearly explained the different 4 points, and you've constantly mentioned the man. Now I'm worried. You're not a woman. Are you able to tell us what women need?
Why not?
Okay, sure. Take us through.
I'll go through the simple basics,
yes.
you know, from the Bible, because it's the only place I find my... So when we look at the women, God said, I will make this man a helper. Yeah? And who's a helper? Somebody who comes to help you. Many of us and many of the people out there, they think a helper is somebody who's of the weaker vessel. Right?
Preach
but
it.
a helper is not somebody of a weaker vessel. A helper is somebody, either you have the same energy or that person is more energized than you are. So that means he's coming to help you. Let's use a simple example. Imagine I'm driving and all of a sudden my car, maybe I have no fuel, and all of a sudden it stops, and I have to push it on the side of the road to give way for others to pass.
Yeah.
In the process, I see a young boy of maybe 12 years. Do you think I'll be inclined to call them to come and help me?
Definitely no.
Definitely no. But if I see this man,
It's so masculine.
Muscular protection. That's why even we are made, you know, created in this way. We are so muscular, not to beat our wives, no, to help, not to beat our wives, because so many men have taken it upon themselves because of their energy, because of the what, you know, no. So our role, because we are protectors, remember, so he gave us that ability. So I'll call this other person, yeah, whom I see, either we have of the same energy or is even more energized than I am, come and help me. And that is the woman. Helper, somebody either of the same or above. But we intend to look on the other side. Now, what is the woman's needs? You know, women are emotional creatures, yeah? They attach feelings, right? Now, their basic need is not actually love. You know, it is affection. And what is affection? You can express affection in so many ways, right? You've heard stories of men who feel like they are raping their women, or their wives feel like their husbands are raping them. Why? Because you've not given him that reason. You've not given her that reason for her to allow you to make love. Yes, it's not there. For you just come, yes, because men, we love sex, we're built like that. It is, you know, that's how we're created. Now you think anytime you can jump on. No, give her that affection. And how do you give that affection? For example, Mercy, if I ask you, what is love? You can explain it, right? Yes. And now Gary Chapman is the one who put it very, in his book, The 5 Love Languages. You know, he went further to explain these languages, how we can know that we're in love, how can we manifest that love. And he talked about act of doing, right? There are people, for them to feel they're in love,
they have to do something.
They have to do something for them, right? The second is words of affirmation. I get up in the morning and call you, or when I get up, I look at you besides me, I tell you, oh, baby, I love you. Good morning. Before I leave home, I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm leaving home. I love you so much. Good work. At noon, you just call to let them know how much you've thought about them. In the evening, you know, or you tell them how good they are. You tell them how they have blossomed your life, you know. These affirmations, because they always want to listen to them. Not listening, but they contribute to their affections. Then we go to, I've talked to about words of affirmation. I've talked about communication, right?
No, not yet.
Then communication, how we talk, you know. Responsibility. We always think communication is calling you and no, talk to me.
What's happening?
What's happening? What are you doing out there? What are you expecting? How has your day been? You know, if you've gotten these challenges, yeah, baby, you know, this has happened, I'm going to do this, but I don't feel fine. She becomes, or he becomes part
of whatever that is going on.
Yes, of whatever is going on. So when you get that, there are those that even need actions like touching, you know. You have seen so many people today, men married, actually, they say the most boring society is the marriage. You know, so boring in a way that men lead their wives. You know, you find they're all heading to church, but the man is there,
right in front.
The woman is behind with the kids, pulling this one, pulling that one, you're tucking.
Something
you
is
know?
Trying to fall down, you're trying to pick it up, and
the man is already seated inside, you know. Yet they need this responsibility, they need these acts. Be there. If I'm helping my boy to button up, to knot his tie, maybe you're helping your daughter, or if you're, you know, so many things. It's a shared responsibility. And those are some of the things that we tend to ignore. If you look at your needs, the women's needs, actually they complement our needs. Because for you, you need to find me working, doing something to be able to help me, right?
Sure.
And we get offended when women start doing other things. And they start doing other things because they're for nothing. I mean, doing nothing at all. I'm just there. Now she starts developing. You know, you've heard people say that women are like incubators, you know, or they're like the ground. Whatever you give them, they multiply and bring it back in a different form. So you can't multiply nothing if I haven't given you anything.
True.
Now I start complaining. That is why I need to be working for you to come. For me to think about a relationship, I need to be doing something so that you can come and help me. And that helping helps us to grow, because there's something you're doing, there's something I'm doing. But at times, we may not even want it, but we have to do it. Now, acquit affection I'll use an illustration of a vehicle. You know, vehicles take fuel, gas. But for a vehicle to function, it needs to take that fuel. Often in time, you may not even be happy buying the fuel or going even to the petrol station, but you definitely go there. You may not even like the smell of, but you have to fuel it. Why? You need it to move. So you, as a woman, me as a man, we need it intertwinedly because we need to move. And that movement is what you give, and it's what I give.
Oh, that's amazing. And I just love the way you're explaining every point. We know that I need to feel appreciated. I need those words of affirmation. I need the communication to flow. You need to have work. You need to provide security. But how indeed do you just execute it. When we talk about protection and security, for instance, does it mean that you have, as a man, you have to cut every link this woman has in form of friends? Because we've had such instances that people are, they still quote, I was protective to my girlfriend or to my wife. How are we supposed to execute this?
Now, Mercy, the Bible tells us that we, men, need to love women as the way Jesus loved his wife. You know Jesus had a wife?
Okay, tell me that.
Yeah, he did.
Uh-huh.
And her name was Ecclesia.
Okay.
Ecclesia meaning the church. Now, the way Jesus loved the church, that's in Hebrew. Sorry, I got you there. Now, the way...
Definitely.
The way Jesus loved the church is the same way we men need to love
The wives
the
or
wife.
the girlfriends.
Protect, cultivate, and be there. And that is what Jesus was doing. And the same thing, women, you do not need to love us. You know, that's where the circle goes wrong. Ephesians 5, it talks about women respect
And
your
submit.
husbands and submit. Right? Men, we need to love. Now, you see where the difference is? We love, you respect, because that's what we need, that's what we want. You need to get those friends. It's Henry Ford who said that you need to get friends who bring out the best, out of you. Now, the best out of you are those friends that support you. I don't have to first rely on my friends when I'm having a problem in my family. I need to first clear my house. Or just give them, they need to just guide me. But they do not
give you the solution.
give me the solution. Then have to go to other people for affirmations and confirmation and guidance. What does Jesus tell us in John 14? I will send you
A
helper who will guide you, who will protect you.
I'll teach you.
And teach you. So the first thing is, if there is something happening, I need to first seek. That's why you need a man who's in the presence of God as the first qualification. Because in case of anything,
they know where to
they
run.
know where to run. Not to run to your bad days, you know? You're like, yeah, you know, my wife, my family. No, they don't give you anything. How sure are you that they're even fine themselves?
True.
It's a question of discussion. So you come with your problems, they also have their own problems, now you're adding them. At the end of the day, you just keep swerving in there without a solution. A year goes, and a year in, and at the end of the day, we are rushing to court for divorces. Yet it is something we would have thought and discussed as a family. So if I am working, that means there is something you're going to help me with. That is why when you tell a woman, remember we talked about being an incubator?
Yes.
When you tell her something, you're like, you know what, next year I think we should build a house. Now remember you're working. Come next year, she'll remind you, yes, Herbert, how far with the project of the house? And maybe even I've not stepped any stone or even calculated anything.
You never even gave it a thought.
I never even gave it a thought.
Yeah.
Now I'll start saying my wife is demanding. Demanding what? Like the Holy Spirit, it does not say what you have not told it.
It brings forth
it brings
what
forth.
you produced.
Yes, which we normally term as prophecy. You know, they bring back. So me, I'll be like, no, my wife is, she's too much.
Nagging.
She's demanding and nagging. Why? You forget that you told her that you need to do this. And she asks you, not because she's testing your confidence, testing your IQ, testing anything. No, she wants to help. Right? Now, you also go to her and talk to her or tell her with the background, with the mentality that you want her to help you. Yes. So we, as men, we are men. And women will always need fathers. Come rain, come sunshine. Why? Remember from the word security? Yes, men are men, and women will always want fathers. I'll equate it to security, as we already said. That is why, Mercy, if you're getting married, I will come. We have discussed about it, for example, and we have agreed. My first test is to come to your father and talk to your father, asking him for you. Why do I talk to your father? Because your father has to qualify me to be your new father. Right?
Wow.
Now, your father will come up and ask for dowry. What is dowry? In essence, it is to test my
If you're
qualification,
able to
to
provide.
test if I'm able to provide, because he has provided. Now, for him to be sure that you're able to provide, he'll ask for dowry, which many people may even may time as bride price. Now, we will think we are like buying the woman. No, it is showing responsibility that you're ready to take care of her. Yes.
Now, that just takes a whole different notes, but but it's really amazing how you're putting these points in together, and it's powerful. So there's this probably the last aspect that we'll want to touch it. When things go wrong, the needs not attended to, you just don't know. Apart from the divorce, what other thing can people in relationships do?
You know, divorce is the last alternative. You remember when Jesus was asked by the Pharisees about divorce, he referred them to the beginning, said, in the beginning, it was not made so. But it happened because of circumstances that had undergone during the Mosaic laws. And so he realized that instead of, because divorce is the second to death. So instead of people killing each other in their families, in their homes,
let them just separate.
Let them separate. And everybody gets to know that they have separated. But why do you have to get there? Yet we have all the answers. You know? The issue is we go to unauthorized dealers. Yes. To seek their affirmation and guidance. Let's use an example of gadgets. Apple. They manufacture iPhones.
Yes.
But before they bring them out, they have tested them. They know this machine is suits for the purpose. It will function as to the standards.
Yes.
They invest in research. They develop, by the time it leaves the factory, they are guaranteed 100% that product will function to its intended purpose. And they further tell you that if you find a deficit with it, a defect,
bring it back.
Bring it back to us. Or we have agents in Kigali, anywhere in your countries of distribution, to attend to them. But what happens to us? We carry those gadgets that have gotten problems and take them to unauthorized dealers to work on them. Yes, they do work on them, but they work for a very short time and something else
pops up.
Yet, Apple is willing to incur all the costs for you to get that gadget back to them so that they can do it, work on it. But we do not. Even the guarantee they've given us, we take them on authorized dealers. So the same thing is happening to our families. We seek guidance from people who are not authorized. We take our problems to people who don't have solutions. Now what do? They can't make us better than who they are. So they just keep us in that bracket. But the test is, or the answer is, you have to sit back. As Aaron said, don't treat symptoms. Go back to the cause. Recycle yourself and know, where is this coming from? I might be blaming you. I'm like, man, you know what, Mercy, maybe my wife, she's doing this and this, blah, 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 as they normally say. But when you listen to them keenly, you find that he's the problem. And he doesn't want to admit that he's the problem.
That's always a big deal.
So we have to get back to the cause, root cause. And how do you get back to the root cause? You now to go back to God's presence and seek guidance from him. And how do you seek guidance? You open up, be truthful, and say whatever needs to be said. And then sit back. You know, last time we were discussing, and there is a country in West Africa where before you do a divorce, you have to call back
all the witnesses,
all the people that attended your wedding, all the people that took on that Holy Communion during that time, that bread. You need to consult them so they can give you a go-ahead or a no. So what does court do? It evaluates that form. How many people said yes and how many people said no? But truth be told,
you can't go
often
to all
in
the
time,
people.
yes, they get back and they realize who they are, where the mistake came from, because they've opened up to themselves. And you know, the more you talk, the more you get to point out where the deficit is. And that's what happens. Seek back, go back to God's presence, and he'll give you the solutions.
Oh, that's amazing. It's just amazing. I feel I should be saying amen.
Amen.
And hallelujah.
Yes.
It has been great having you once again. There are no better times.
Sure.
It's just great.
Yeah, that's what I do. Transform minds into agents of change. So
You're already having some impact right here.
glad I am.
So, dear viewers, thank you so much for staying with us, and we hope that you've learned. For those who are in relationships, stop the blame game. Yeah? Let's talk. Like he has said, let's open up. Let's find the root cause. Let's stop dealing with the symptoms. And those of us that we didn't know what we are supposed to do in terms of needs, you have them right now. So let's work on this, and let's all work together into making a perfect society. It has been awesome being your hosts, and I'm hopeful to see you in our next session. Have a very good time.